Welcome everybody. We are now at the first digital meeting, the Chain Reaction Dialogue of the year 2023, and we are very happy and proud to introduce you to the Switzerland stage and scenario of the Theatre for Young Audience. We have a great panel today, and we are very pleased to be welcomed and hosted in a fantastic festival in Italy that is called Gioca Teatro, that in English means play theater. This is one of the most renowned Italian festival and also one of the most, let's say, old. That means that it has a very good reputation, and we are very happy to be hosted here today because you see us in the digital space. But this is meant to be an hybrid meeting, and there are, I would say, a lot of Italian producers and artists that are in Torino, in this wonderful theater that I hope you will see sooner or later in your life, professional or personal life. This is why I will give the floor to the artistic director Emiliano Bronzino that is hosting us today.
Hello everybody, pleased to meet you. Salve a tutti, parlo in italiano così più semplice, dopodiché Cristina tradurrà per i colleghi stranieri. Velocissimamente, quando ci è stato proposto di ospitare questo primo evento di Chain Reaction all'interno del nostro festival, abbiamo accolto volentieri la proposta, in primo perché riteniamo l'attività utile a tutto il comparto. Il nostro, come sapete, è un festival che si dedica soprattutto agli operatori, per cui ha una visibilità tra operatori e quindi è utile anche in momenti di confronto. L'altro punto interessante è che la Svizzera è un paese con cui spesso e volentieri la Fondazione Teatro Ragazzi Giovani di Torino ha intessuto relazione. Sono molti i partner con cui collaboriamo, molte le ospitalità che abbiamo realizzato nel corso degli anni di produzioni svizzere. Molto spesso noi andiamo in Svizzera con le nostre produzioni. È uno dei partner europei con cui è più facile dialogare, sia per questioni linguistiche, perché in parte l'italiano è affrontato, sia perché spesso e volentieri le nostre produzioni di Torino sono tradotte in francese, che è altro lingua di veicolo utile per il contesto territoriale svizzero. Detto questo, non direi niente altro se non fare un grosso in bocca al lupo a Assiter Chain Reaction per questa nuova edizione, ed è un piacere ospitarvi all'interno del festival.
Lei.
So thank you. Emiliano said that he's very happy to welcome this chain reaction meeting in the festival. And when we suggested to be hosted and we proposed to have this meeting from the festival, he thought that that was a really good thing, because Gioca Teatro is a festival that is mainly dedicated to networking space for delegates and professionals. So to have a networking event, international one, it was interesting for the festival. And the festival has a good experience in relation with Switzerland, first of all because is really at the border with Switzerland, and mainly because Fondazione Teatro Ragazzi e Giovani di Torino have an experience in international production and touring. The language in Switzerland can be Italian, that is of course a language in which the production are produced, and also La Fondazione has a lot of shows that have been translated in French. Also to set cooperation, La Fondazione have been part of different European cooperation with this country, and so he's wishing us all the best for this beginning of the activities of Chain Reaction that are together with Assiter Italia as a partner. So now, swapping from a translator to the to mentoring this meeting, I will give the floor to Linda Eroli, that is the president of Assiter Italia, that is one of the 7 partners of chain reaction. That is, as you maybe know, cooperation process set by 6 Italian festival and Assitege Italia that is together with us. Thank you, Linda.
Grazie Cristina, grazie a tutti i presenti sia dal vivo qui a Torino che a casa online. Io aggiungo solo una piccola cosa che mi sembra molto importante in questa occasione. Questo momento appunto, come già diceva Cristina e come diceva anche Emiliano, è un'opportunità di creare un'ulteriore connessione tra il tavolo dei festival di Assitege Italia e il progetto Chain Reaction, perché appunto soprattutto in questa terza edizione di Chain Reaction, uno degli obiettivi che si è dato proprio il progetto è quello di allargare la platea e di diffusione delle opportunità e delle capacità anche di diffusione delle buone pratiche e con un sano precipitato dei risultati appunto di Chain Reaction. Questo appunto è un primo esempio di collaborazione e di connessione, considerando appunto, come diciamo sempre, che dal tavolo dei festival è nato Chain Reaction e adesso appunto c'è di nuovo un passaggio. Quindi i famosi vasi comunicanti tra le attività producono buoni frutti e una moltiplicazione appunto delle possibilità per tutti quanti. Grazie. De nuevo.
Linda Airoli refers to how the chain reaction process was born. That was within a process of dialogue between Italian festival within Assitege Italia. This dialogue gave birth to the cooperation between the 6 festivals. And now, at the moment, since Gioca Teatro is one of the festivals that is sitting at this table of dialogue between theater festival of TYA sector. Now it's a kind of connection and best practice exchange moment because we are in one of the festival of the table of festival in Assitege Italy. So it's an exchange of energy and communication between this project with 6 festivals and all the table that is still alive and leading other and new processes. This is important for you as an international audience and also important to remember to our Italian colleagues that the theater festival is alive and you can participate. Sorry, the translation was just a little bit generic, but because I was reading a message during, but I believe that I did my job. So thank you, Linda, and thank you to all of you for being with us today. But let's jump on the stage and let's see who's with us today, because we have a really interesting panel. We started from Switzerland because one of the important characteristic or specificity of the Switzerland stage is that it's a multilingual stage. So we have people that today will speak their language that they prefer to feel more comfortable. And if there is someone that is not understanding this language, I will translate and I will bridge to English or Italian. So don't be afraid to get lost. If someone is going to speak Italian or French, I will try to do my best to bridge you on the comprehension. So we start from, of course, we start from Assitege Switzerland. That is our partner for this dialogue, knowing that we are moving and walking in the field of the international relation of Assitege Italia. So, Sinian, Homan, the floor is yours. Just introduce yourself and tell us all what you want to tell us. And also we will have Petra Fischer that is speaking together with her. I gave to all of you kind of 7 minutes so that we have space for questions, because this is, of course, just an appetizer. And it's for all of you to try to understand which are the main pillars of the scene. We are not going to be exhaustive. So take notes, and then you will have the contact of everybody to understand, to try to start to understand how the Switzerland stage is functioning. Thank you.
Allora, thank you very much for having us here. I think it's a very, looks very impressive. Buongiorno, bonjour, und grüezi. My mother tongue is German. I'm from the German-speaking part of Switzerland, presently in Bern. And I try to summarize quickly as I can what ASITESH Switzerland is doing. So you wanted to know how many members we have. At present, we have 207 members, which are split into individual members, like solo persons, which is about 40%. Then we have collective and institutional members, which together are about the other 40%. And then we have a very little part of next generation where we hope that it will get more. So like students working in theater, being interested in theater for young audiences. And then we have some support members, which is a small part. And then, of course, you know, Switzerland is split into these actually 4 languages, where the very little one is, I think, represented by one member in ASITESH Switzerland, which is the Romansh language we have. About 8% is speaking Italian, about 23 French, and I think it's about the same as our member structure is. Our board has 6 members presently. We just changed some of them in the beginning of April. Or some people changed, we did not change. We are a collective board, so we don't have a president who is like voting for everybody. We have like different sections we are working in. Oh, and we also have a very little Geschäftsstelle in English, like administrative support, like with 30–40%, like on a very small basis to organize at least the members and the board. So we are 6 volunteering members on the board, mainly actually only from the German-speaking part of Switzerland, which is quite a shame. And like working in parts like for the national, with a focus on the national Swiss context, on the international context, together with ASITESH International. That's why I'm here, as Italy, of course, is international for us. And we have quite a big focus also on the members, to give them opportunities to connect with ASITESH International, to have exchanges, to have some kind of further educations. And we also work quite closely together with the festivals for young audiences to have their meetings and exchange possibilities. The most of them are not every year, but every second year. So I think, and then we also had like our first creative connection. So it's a bit a different name, where we also did in the context of a festival last June. We had a focus not on a border country, but on 2 African countries where board members of the international ASITESH are. So it was Nigeria and South Africa. So it was also kind of a starting to get more connections and insights how people work around the world. And we have a connection with all the German-speaking ASITESH members in Europe, which is Austria, Luxembourg, Liechtenstein, of course, Germany and Switzerland, and try to sometimes get together and do things together. So like for the day of the youth theater on the 20th of March, we had a cooperation, and we also tried to get cooperations done for the artistic gatherings and the World Congress to be a bit more, Now, what did I forget? Of course, a lot. We also have regional groups. That's maybe quite interesting. So we have a regional group in Zurich, and we now also have a regional group in Bern. And we really hope that the Romandie, the French-speaking, are trying to set up one, because we realize as Switzerland is a federalistic state, so like the cantons are very powerful in subsidizing and in the whole organization of culture. So it was quite interesting what now happened in Zurich and in Bern concerning of being pushed really from the regional groups. So I think it's really important also to have a level there where it's really close on the community level, on the city levels to work on, as the federalistic states always have a lot of differences, what works where. And we are always looking a bit into the French-speaking part, who has so much more standing houses working for youth theater, which is really in German-speaking part still very, very small. And the Italian part, yes, I'm sorry, I don't speak very good Italian, but we are of course happy that we have some members there. And at least the annual reports and things are all produced in 3 languages. So if you like to read about what we did last year, I can send it to you in German, French, and Italian.
Wow, this is amazing. So please absolutely send us the report, because we will share it with our members, because this space is really a space of sharing tools, resources, and information. I will give you just few questions, like to better understand the differences between Assitege Switzerland and Assitege Italia, that can help maybe us to understand how it functions. Are the members, the board member, the 6 board members, paid or not? And the secretary administration is paid, is volunteer job? Because in Italy this is the case. And if yes, from where do you find do you get funding? And if you can explain just a little bit more about this regional group, how they function, because in Italy it can be interesting, because in Italy we are, the booth is a long country, and we also struggle about relations between North and South and things like that. Maybe this is a model that can be interesting. Thank you.
Where did you, what, if we are, well, no, like we are all voluntarily on the board, like working whatever we can next to jobs where we also earn some money from. And it really changed in 2014, the federation of like Bern, the capital of where the national funding was cut off, because there were new regulations who could get that money or not. And since then, we are working with a volunteering board, and the office, which is like 30 or 40%. So, and on a cultural level, paid is a paid job, and that's not subsidized. It's the members who pay their annual fee, where we pay that from. That was one thing.
Thank
what
you.
was the second
the
question?
Groups, which is the logic of the regional groups?
The logic of I think like with this whole change, when we kind of cut off, when we didn't have the money anymore and decided, well, we cannot let Assitege die, or actually the I came into it again. It was Assitege before, and then the international I came back into it again. It was like, yeah, we cannot, like Switzerland needs an Assitege. It's not possible that you have an organization around the world and we say like, well, we don't have the funding anymore. We stop this. So there were just those engaged members who said like, we will not cut it down. So there was quite a focus of people from Zurich. I think it was a coincidence. I don't really know. And then we kind of really realized that there are some things which are really big differences. Like you say, like Italy is very long. We have all these languages. So it is different, like how to get money if you live in Zurich or in Basel or in Graubünden or in Geneva or in Locarno. So because there were a lot of things kind of changing also in the way of subsidize. So there was like it came from the members that there needs to be like a focus where it's about the structures in Zurich and what Assitege needs to do there. So there are people in there who are members of Assitege, but there are also other theater people in who are not member of the Assitege. And they just kind of like the biggest thing they just managed to get is an own space subsidized by the city of Zurich, where you have free spaces for free productions. So this was one thing was really missing. And there we got together with the dance, with the Tanzlobby, and then now I just forgot the third one. So it's like a corporation of 3 associations now being able to have a space like that and to support the work further in that. And of course, it's very interesting that then if Assitege is in, the work for young audiences are more on the skin of the people. And in Bern, they then also kind of like, yeah, we also have things here, like there's like also Zurich, but also Bern is kind of fighting for our own house for young audiences since 20, 30, 40, I don't remember how many years. So they founded like also to make a regio group for Bern, which has a part which speaks French, and they also have a part which is really mountains. So it's also very different.
Okay.
And they just managed to make a big study or like to give a study if it would be possible to found a house in Bern for young audiences.
Okay, so it's a kind of processes that are really bottom up from members trying to put their energy together to make advocacy. And as Assitesh in Switzerland, you just put the umbrella and the signature of the quality, and you follow together what's happening from the bottom up, from the members' energy. Great. Can be interesting for us.
And I think you can also learn from each other, right? It's not, I think, the bottom up, but then also to have the communication to see, oh, look what they managed in Bern, or look what they did. Yeah, I think it's interesting to see how you can profit from knowing how people do things.
Absolutely. And last question, then I will be shorter with the others, but this was just the beginning for me to get in. And no, it's me taking it longer, but it's a kind of warming up for also the audience. How do you communicate? I mean, to share best practices and competencies, it's important to understand how you achieve the communication process and how you exchange this awareness.
So how we communicate within the Assitesh Switzerland?
Yes, and how you make concrete this process of exchange between members and learning from how did they do it in Bern, how they do it in Zurich, how do you exchange this information and competencies?
So yeah, one way is, of course, that there are meetings where everybody is welcome to come, so you can really have a live exchange, but of course it's not always possible that everybody travels around the country.
So you have recurrent meeting, live
well,
meeting.
It really depends if the things are now, like Assitesh of like the Regio group in Zurich was, for a while there was not too much going on, and then it really came back because of this offer that you could try, and then they get together again, and then you have a power to. So it always a bit depends on what kind of things people kind of work. And we have a newsletter where we also try to always inform the people.
Are members reading the newsletter?
Yeah, well, that's a big, and we really like because we don't have money anymore subsidized. So like the things like the annual report is always translated, and the other things in the newsletter are really in that language where we got it from. So otherwise we would just not manage to give everything in 3 languages.
Okay.
And then all the meetings are open where you, of course, like, if you visit others to see a production, then you meet somebody again, and then you also talk about what is happening in Zurich or what is happening in Lausanne or whatever.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. If there are other questions, of course, we will take them later, because now we will speak with Felicitas Amman, that is here representing Pro Helvetia, that is a funding body that makes a really interesting job and has a really important mission in Switzerland. Thank you, Felicitas, for being with us.
Thank you, Christina. Can you hear me? Okay. So Pro Helvetia is the Swiss Arts Council. Besides, there is the Federal Office for Culture also. They are supporting association, like Signe said before, and they also give awards. So that's what they do in the performing arts. We, as the Swiss Arts Council, we are a foundation. We are financed by the state totally, but we are an independent foundation still. And I think it's I try to make it short because it's a little bit complicated, but like Signe said, it's really extremely important to understand that Switzerland is so strongly federalist and everything is really coming from the regions. And we have a very, very small country, and still we have 26 administrative regions. So you can imagine some of them are very, very small rural areas, and others are just a big city, like Geneva is already almost a canton. They are called cantons. So they are very, very different. And they actually are the strongest political entities in Switzerland. And they are also in terms of cultural support. So actually it's really them. And then of course also the bigger cities who are really funding what's happening in culture. They are giving subventions to institutions, but they are also funding the independent scene. So it's really them who make things work. And that is also so difficult in our country. If you want to change something, I rely a lot of what senior just told, because I think it's interesting from my perspective. I see it quite similarly. It's really always there need to be changes in some of the cities, and you have to, or we have to partner with some of the cantons and the cities if we want to do bigger projects together. Our budget is relatively small because it's all we have 40 million in total. And this
40 million?
40 million Swiss francs, which is equivalent to euros. And this is not the money we give to the artists, but this is the money for the whole institution with the house we pay for and all the collaborators. And we also have 6 offices abroad in different countries. So this all is paid by this 40 million. So this is relatively small if you compare to the millions and millions that each city is giving to their institutions. So this shows a little bit how we work in Switzerland. The mission of Pro Helvetia is also really complementary to what cantons and cities do. And the mission is really to support projects only, so we don't give subventions on a long term, but we support only projects, and only projects who have a relevance that is, how do you say that in English? Supra-regional, we would say in French. So more than a region.
Super regional, we understand.
Super regional. In the performing arts, this is a lot of touring that we support. We support touring abroad mainly. And within Switzerland, we only support touring when this is in the other linguistic regions, because this is an important mission of Pro Helvetia. This is coming still from the Second World War, when Pro Helvetia was funded, actually, to help really to bring these different regions together. So the exchange between the regions is an important mission that we have. When we support touring, that can be interesting also for Italian institutions. We mainly support travel and transportation costs. That is what we can take in charge. And then, of course, also translations, subtitles, or other ways that artists work with different linguistic versions.
Very well. I jump in with a question. That is how Italian institutions can ask for funding to Pro Helvetia. Is there a website? Is there a deadline, an yearly deadline? And which is I understood that it's important for you to support touring abroad within the country to sustain this exchange. But when an Italian theater festival or structure is asking to you to support an artist, which is the thing that we need to put under the light to tell you this is something you need to do?
First, talk to the Swiss artists, because they should know actually all this. So it's really important to
cooperate with them in writing the application.
Yes.
Okay.
And then actually we have an online tool where you can put in your applications, and for just a single invitation of one company, this can be done only until 8 weeks before. So it's quite flexible.
Okay, so no deadline, just 8 weeks before. If you realize that you are programming an Italian, Switzerland artist from everywhere, anywhere, go on the website and read the application and have a dialogue with the artist and with Pro Helvetia. Is it you, the person to speak with? With this, or?
I have to think. Yes, it can be me.
Okay, great. Because this is one of the important things when you make networking or you need to bridge within international. It's the email or the contact person, because otherwise you get lost in the ocean of contacts. And which is the value, the added value that you will look at when we are asking to support a cooperation?
I would not talk about added value, but just the conditions. And the conditions for us is that a fee is paid and that the inviting institution is also offering per diems and all that is needed. So we really want to make sure that also the technical conditions are okay. So this is really a condition for us.
Okay, so put the light on the fact that we are really paying the artists. We are not like asking them to come for volunteer, and that they are well welcomed.
Yes, exactly. This is really important for us. And then, of course, we are always interested also in promotional activities. We have different of our own activities, like we have a small showcase in the Avignon Off Festival, for instance, or other things where we present companies, but we support also these kind of activities. And we have, I think they will talk about that later, the Course d'École. Will you talk about that? This is something we support actually when institutions of other countries are invited to Switzerland to meet artists and see shows. And we also have international meetings where we support. We just had a meeting in Avignon 2 weeks ago. Maybe Sophie was there as well. Where French-speaking countries were meeting and presenting artists to each other. So this is also something we are very much interested in supporting and in making possible. And from time to time, we also have a festival that contacts us because they want to make a Swiss focus and invite several artists and giving them a bigger visibility. We will have in the Sant'Arcangelo Festival this year, several companies. This is not for young audience, but this in Italy. But we also had Swiss focuses in festivals for young audience. So this is always possible as well. And there it's really a collaboration where we try to finance a big part of the project to make that possible.
Very well. And on the website, I believe that we find the information also on the focus in the different countries, or maybe we can ask you if there are focuses that we can look at to see how they are structured and to better understand how to shape eventually our project to submit. Am I correct?
Yes, please do contact me if you have ideas. Yeah, because there are not so many informations on our website. It's not very well done.
It's okay. If we have your contact, if it is not too stressy for you, we will contact you with the precise question. So
yes, then
now we from the bottom, from the umbrella, let's say institution with different goal and governances, we will go deep in the structure of how the Switzerland stage is composed. We are going to travel across a theater production theater place, that is Theater Amsterdam, and then we will have two small structure, that is Le Petit Théâtre de Lausanne. Amsterdam is, oh dear, where is Amsterdam? Sorry, I got lost.
It's Muriel.
Which is the city in which the theater is based?
Geneva.
Then we go to Lausanne with two small but interesting structures, Le Petit Théâtre de Lausanne et La Gare. And then we go to an international festival. That is an international festival Italian speaking language, un festival di narrazione. And then we have the Young Dance Festival. So we go to a dance festival that is interesting for international exchanges. But now it's for you in the audience there, sitting in this small classroom, to know what we are going to listen. Muriel, the floor is yours.
Hi, everyone. I'm sorry in advance, I have to leave after I speak, not because I'm not interested, but I had told Christina. I work
we know, and thank you for your time, and for all of you, the meeting will be recorded and available for all of you to listen again and to better understand what we are briefly telling you.
Thank you. I'm sitting uncomfortably in the chair of the director, Joanne Montpart, who is traveling. So all the questions really regarding production on the theater, I can't really answer exactly. I have a production experience because I worked 10 years in a big, large company. So I do know about diffusion and production in Switzerland, but in the theater, I take care of the mediation and cultural actions. So maybe I can share a bit about that. Amstramgram is a 30 years old theater in Geneva. It's an important institution in the city. It's really it's the main creation place for children's play, youth and children's play. We do put a lot of attention in creating plays that are as artistic and as well produced as any adult plays. So there's mostly creation, but we also do hosting other plays. For example, we're hosting a play coming from Le Petit Théâtre de Lausanne next year. That's Sophie stage. So we're very happy about that. So there is exchanges between theaters and touring of plays that have been created at Amstramgram. Obviously, the language barrier makes it difficult to export to Italian or German-speaking regions in Switzerland. So we travel around Romandie, all the French-speaking canton, and in France a lot as well. Obviously, France is the biggest neighbor, and there's possibilities to tour there. For example, Joanne Montpart, the director, play called Oz, after the Magician of Oz that we created last year in-house, will be shown in Avignon this summer for 3 weeks. And then probably from there, we'll have a second life in touring in France, mostly, and Switzerland also. So I don't know, maybe I should tell you a bit more about maybe the personality of what the theater is trying to do, not only producing shows of quality for youth audiences, but also I think one of the biggest programs that Joanne is trying to put in the theater is really empowering children and the youth voice, and not only by showing quality shows, but also by creating new forms that we also to try to make travel. I'm going to give you a concrete example, maybe it'll be clearer. There's a new form called Agora, like the Greek word Agora, which is a place of meeting and talking. And the Agora are happening twice a year over 2 weekends. So it's 1 weekend each. And it's full of course, there's always a show around it, but it's full of conferences, playful conferences, with children, always, specialists and children, workshops, exhibitions, all kinds of things. And the subjects for those are more taking roots in the society we live in. So, most of the year we're trying to dream and present art. And during these weekends, we're trying to grasp what is really important to address also for children. And we partner with them to do so, because the main philosophy, I think, of Amstramgram today is not to look down at children, from an adult perspective, but really to be horizontally working together. And we're trying to make that not just a philosophy, but actually doing it. So Agora is a big place for that. We have we've already had 2 on climate changes, for example, and this coming one in May is about water, exactly, water. So we do all kinds of fun things, but we're addressing these issues with, for example, kids who are themselves fighting for climate changes, and we give them a stage to talk with specialists. So it's a very interesting encounters. And another project of research we're doing, again, to try to grasp what exactly youth is today and work together with them and offering them a platform to express themselves, is a project called Regeneration, led by an artist that we have in-house a lot, and she's also in Marseille. So we have a collaboration with Marseille University that is doing research as well on that subject there. And we have forums every year at the theater unknown to even ourselves until they happen. They are programmed, but we don't know what's going to happen in them. And during the year, Caroline, that artist, works with teenagers, and together they create the show and the forms and the research. And it's really documented all year. And we probably going to launch a blog about it this year and do some more work of communication about it.
Thank you, Muriel. This is really interesting for us. The part of the dialogue with the children, it's really interesting, and also the regeneration part. It looks like you are creating some incubators to refresh the vision that you have of a young audience and teenagers. I don't want to refer to me, but this sounds really interesting because I am the ambassador of the transgenerational dialogue between teenagers with the Teen Project. That is a project that is based on this dialogue. So I will contact you to have more information. But also, I'm saying that because also in Italy, we have a lot of colleagues that are experimenting different formats. Is it possible to have information and maybe to come and visit and assist to this Agora? That is maybe something that some of us are interested in doing. Absolutely. Can you give us where we can find information on this and how we can participate?
That would be wonderful. Well, one more thing about the Agora. Yes, of course, the next one is May 6 and 7, and the program is online in the Amsterdam website. Also for next year, Joanne has made contacts with different 3 other theaters, 1 in Switzerland and 2 in France. So the Agora are becoming nomads. They're already traveling. You know, of course, we also work with association based in every city, so they will do that wherever they are, but the core program will be the same and we'll be sharing experiences. So it's great. We're very happy about that. So you're all welcome to come and exchange. And so either in May, and the next one after that is November.
Very well, thank you. One thing that is interesting on this level is the fact that in Chain Reaction Dialogue, we are not exchanging only information on how to get funding, but also ideas of visions. And we can, this is for you in the audience, online and there. Feel free to drop an email to Muriel and say, I would love to have a personal and private dialogue with the director that created the Agora. Don't limitate yourself. Dream about connections. This is why we are here today. So Absolutely. Thank you, Muriel, for this inspiration. Welcome. I said something maybe you were not allowing me, but this is Chain Reaction. We start a reaction and that's it. You are in.
we love dialogues with everyone. And, you know, the director is Spanish. I think he speaks a little Italian. We do work with an Italian artist, Dario Moretti. We like everybody knows there. So feel free. And Geneva is an international city anyway, so open doors. And I say everyone a goodbye and see you soon.
Thank you, Muriel, for being with us. It was very interesting. So now we will switch to French-speaking persons with Sophie Gardaz and Catherine Breu that are here. Sophie, from Le Petit Théâtre de Lausanne, do you want to start first?
Oui, volontiers.
Rappelle-toi que je dois traduire en italien, non, en anglais.
En anglais.
Non, attention. Peter, welcome. Do you understand French? Peter Kus? Si. Do you understand French?
Oui.
Ah, magnifico. Allora tradurrò in italiano. Sophie, vai.
Donc, ça veut dire que je peux parler sans
Tu parles français,
m'arrêter.
Tu t'arrêtes quelquefois, parce que moi, je dois traduire pour les Italiens qui sont là-bas. Ou bien, no, Linda, parlate italiano? Parlate francese, non traduco? Fatemi dei cenni.
Sì, va bene in francese.
Va bene il francese, che meraviglia, vi adoro. Vai dritta, Sophie.
Et allez, si jamais vous m'arrêtez,
exprime-toi.
Ok. Alors bonjour, bonjour à vous toutes et tous et merci pour l'invitation. J'ai répondu tardivement parce que je crois que l'objet du message, blockchain, ça a fait que tout partait dans mes spams. Je pense que voilà, ils pensaient que c'était de la publicité pour du Bitcoin ou je sais pas quoi. Mais je suis très heureuse d'être avec vous aujourd'hui. Et voilà, je vais vous parler du Petit Théâtre de Lausanne que je dirige depuis 2005. C'est un théâtre qui a aussi 30 ans, comme Amstramgram, qui est dans une vieille et belle maison dans le centre historique de Lausanne. Un petit théâtre, mais en fait un théâtre qui fait de la production aussi, de spectacles, de la coproduction souvent, et donc qui a une mission de financer, de cofinancer des créations de spectacles jeune public. Nous ne faisons que du jeune public exclusivement, et nous sommes à Lausanne que 2 théâtres qui sommes dédiés au jeune public. C'est très peu pour une ville de de cette taille. Voilà, donc on est très sollicité, on fait 220 représentations par saison, d'une douzaine de spectacles. Et parmi ces 12 spectacles, il y en a 3 et 4 qui sont créés chez nous. Voilà, donc on les construit, ils se répètent chez nous, on fait un suivi administratif, enfin voilà, on fait tout en petit, mais on fait tout. Et puis très souvent, le plus souvent, on coproduit avec des compagnies qui font des spectacles, qui viennent me proposer des projets, et d'autres théâtres de Suisse romande, comme la gare à Montaic, que dirige Catherine Breu, Amstramgram, comme l'a dit Muriel, le théâtre de marionnettes de Genève aussi, d'autres lieux. Voilà, nous mettons ensemble pour permettre à des créations d'avoir un meilleur financement, d'avoir une meilleure diffusion, des meilleures conditions de création. Qu'est-ce que je peux te dire encore? Oui, effectivement, donc à Lausanne, nous dépendons beaucoup de la ville. C'est la ville essentiellement qui nous soutient financièrement. Et la difficulté pour nos spectacles qui sont créés ici, c'est la diffusion. La diffusion parce que, disons que les spectacles jeunes publics en Suisse romande tournent facilement dans notre région linguistique, mais quand il faut sortir des frontières, soit du côté de la Suisse allemande, soit du côté de la France, de la Belgique, ou plus loin encore, c'est compliqué. C'est compliqué pour toutes sortes de raisons, mais disons que voilà, il y a des pays où cette diffusion est disons, plus facile parce qu'elle a aussi une histoire plus longue. Nous, on a toujours encore l'impression maintenant dans le jeune public en Suisse romande d'être un peu des pionniers, de devoir aider, faciliter le travail des compagnies. On est très proche des compagnies, on est très proche de leur travail, de leurs besoins pour essayer de favoriser vraiment cette diffusion. Je fais une petite parenthèse pour dire que quand nous accueillons des spectacles, nous accueillons aussi des spectacles d'autres régions linguistiques et notamment des spectacles italiens. Ça nous est arrivé plusieurs fois d'accueillir des spectacles du Teatro Bricciole, Rodizio, l'Accademia Perduta, Dario Moretti évidemment. Giokovita, on ne l'avait pas accueilli, mais on l'avait coproduit par une association qui existe des théâtres qui sont autour du lac Léman. Donc, il y a des théâtres suisses et il y a aussi la Maison des Arts de Thonon. Et via cette association, un spectacle de la compagnie Giokovita avait été coproduit et présenté à Thonon. Voilà, donc on a quand même quelques liens avec l'Italie, même s'ils sont petits.
Très bien. Merci Sophie. Alors, tu vas découvrir plein d'autres artistes italiens à programmer dans votre lieu parce que il faut pas que ça soit que toujours les mêmes qui vous allez programmer. Et mes collègues qui sont là vont vous envoyer leurs magnifiques productions. Et pourquoi pas aller visiter le festival Gioca Teatro qui est pas loin de chez vous, comme Emiliano Bronzino nous a rappelé, où vous aurez des spectacles aussi traduits en français à bien programmer. Là, je fais un peu la connexion parce que il faut pas oublier que la diffusion est un problème pour les compagnies italiennes aussi de sortir de notre frontière. Catherine, qu'est-ce que vous faites à la gare? Raconte-nous.
Oui, bonjour et merci pour cet échange. Je me réjouis de découvrir toutes ces énergies et ces manières de travailler en Italie. Donc, à la gare, on vient de déménager en fait. Donc, nous, on est une association active dans le jeune public depuis plus de 30 ans. Et on a d'abord travaillé au Petit Théâtre de la Viesse sous le nom de la Bavette et on vient de déménager il y a 3 mois pour un nouvel outil qui est plus adapté à l'accueil du spectacle jeune public et on s'en réjouit. On propose une saison de spectacle avec des accueils et des créations. On va dire, on va aller, donc nous on est dans le sud-ouest du pays, une autre région, un autre canton que Lausanne et Genève, un canton périphérique. Et dans notre canton, il y a un dispositif qui s'appelle Théâtre Pro-Vallée qui permet d'associer une compagnie et un théâtre qui a un label labellisé. Nous, on a le théâtre, on a le label jeune public, Théâtre Pro Jeune Public. Et ensemble, on dépose des projets et ça permet vraiment de favoriser la création dans notre région. Et voilà, donc c'est par ce biais-là que nous coproduisons des spectacles à la gare. C'est juste pour dire, puisqu'on parlait de fédéralisme, montrer un petit peu, il y a différentes manières de fonctionner, comme le disait les différents collègues avant, et voilà, c'est pour marquer un petit peu ça. Et puis, bon, on travaille aussi à des actions de médiation, à des actions sur le territoire, à installer le théâtre parfois dans des endroits où on ne l'attend pas, ou à travailler à des collaborations avec d'autres lieux qui auraient envie de présenter un spectacle jeune public, mais qui n'ont pas, voilà, d'installer le théâtre par exemple, dans un musée, en collaboration avec un musée, etc., sous le nom de la Loco. Donc, puis ce que je pourrais dire aussi pour compléter, puisqu'on demandait avant si on allait parler de la course d'école pour programmateurs. Donc, avec le Petit Théâtre de Lausanne, le Théâtre Amsterdam et le Théâtre de Marionnettes de Genève, on crée un événement pour essayer de favoriser justement la diffusion des créations suisses, de les faire connaître une fois par année. Et cet événement est soutenu par Pro Helvetia et il permet vraiment de faire découvrir la création de Suisse romande. Donc, c'est vrai qu'on a plus des personnes, enfin des programmateurs francophones qui viennent puisqu'on a une création, on montre une création francophone, mais parfois il y a aussi des spectacles sans parole qui sont montrés. Voilà.
Eh bien, je rappelle aux collègues, and I remember to all our colleagues that you can also invite to your festival or during your seasons Sophie and Catherine, because they were the first 2 international delegates coming to Segni Festival in 2006. So I know that from that time they have been traveling and visiting my festival. So why not coming to other festivals if you can invite them? But let's go forward and let's go back to Italian. But in Switzerland, with il Festival Internazionale di Narrazione e Amanda Ostinelli. Grazie. E quindi adesso mi tocca tradurre in inglese, giusto? No, Amanda?
Sì, o se preferite parlo in francese, così evitiamo la traduzione.
Ti adoro, vai.
Bon, alors là, ça pose un problème parce qu'en effet, j'avais préparé 2 ou 3 choses en italien.
Ah non,
mais
si
les
ça
dis-
te dérange,
Non,
si
non,
ça
non,
te met
pas
en
du tout, c'est pas un
difficulté.
problème. Non, non,
Ok,
l'avantage de la
merci.
Suisse, c'est qu'au moins entre l'italien et le français, il n'y a pas de gros problème de compréhension et traduction. Alors, bonjour tout le monde. Moi, je présente d'abord le Festival internazionale di narrazione di Arzo, parce que je ne sais pas si tout le monde le connaît, donc, ou bien j'imagine que la plupart du monde ne le connaît pas. C'est un festival qui existe depuis l'année 2000, donc ça fait quand même 23 ans, 23 parce qu'il y a eu le 2020 où à cause de la pandémie, on n'a pas eu de festival. Et c'est un festival, en effet, qui ne s'occupe pas seulement de jeunes publics. Donc, c'est un festival qui dure 4 jours et qui programme des spectacles pour les enfants, les adolescents et les adultes. Mais ce qui caractérise notre festival, c'est qu'un festival de théâtre de narration, donc de théâtre de parole. Donc, en effet, c'est ça la limite dans laquelle on est. C'est que des spectacles un théâtre de narration qui a évolué dans les années. Donc, on est ouvert à certaines formes hybrides, mais ça reste quand même un festival de théâtre de narration. Et par contre, qui n'est pas que en langue italienne, c'est-à-dire que nous, on a souvent eu des spectacles en français, en allemand, en anglais, en espagnol et en arabe aussi. Donc, la limite n'est pas la langue, mais le type de théâtre qu'on propose. Donc, c'est 4 jours fin août, mi-août, fin août, où il y a environ, pour les enfants, donc si on part du théâtre enfant, il y a environ 8 spectacles qui sont présentés et qui sont présentés 2 fois, une fois le samedi et puis qui répliquent le dimanche. Donc, c'est vraiment très petit comme programmation. C'est pas comme j'ai entendu les 200 sur l'année, c'est que 4 jours, donc c'est que 8 spectacles. Et on m'avait demandé comment on fait pour se proposer. C'est un festival qui est pour le public. Donc, ce n'est pas un festival pensé pour les programmateurs, c'est un festival vraiment pensé pour le public. Après, c'est tout à fait normal qu'il y a aussi des gens qui viennent au festival pour voir les spectacles et pour les programmer ailleurs, comme c'est souvent arrivé entre la Suisse et l'Italie ou entre la Suisse italienne et la Suisse française ou la Suisse alémanique. Donc, nous, normalement, c'est un festival qui a un comité avec 11 personnes. Et chez nous, presque tout le monde n'est pas payé. Donc, c'est des volontaires. En ce moment, on a commencé à payer des jeunes qui ont grandi dans le festival et qui maintenant sont des professionnels dans le milieu du spectacle. Donc, on a choisi de payer ces jeunes qui ont entre 25 et 30 ans, mais c'est les seuls. Tous les vieux, disons, ils ne sont pas payés. Et donc, les personnes qui organisent le festival, on est entre 11 et 15. 5 personnes font partie de la commission artistique. Et on choisit les spectacles, comment on les choisit? Soit c'est les artistes qui nous écrivent, soit des fois c'est nous qu'on regarde les autres festivals plutôt que les programmations des théâtres et qu'on va voir des spectacles qu'on pense on pourrait programmer chez nous. Donc, il n'y a pas la call pour les artistes, c'est toute l'année. La seule limite qu'on se donne, c'est que nous, on veut toujours voir le spectacle. Donc, normalement, on ne prend jamais des spectacles qu'on n'a pas vus, sauf on a pris des spectacles qui viennent du Canada. Là, forcément, on a vu une vidéo. Mais ce qu'on demande aux artistes, c'est toujours de nous donner des dates, soit en Suisse, soit dans le nord de l'Italie. Disons, on est arrivé jusqu'à Rome. Environ. Après, ça devient difficile. Des fois, on regarde quand même pour l'Italie, les vidéos. Et après, qu'est-ce que je peux encore dire? Voilà, le but du festival, c'est que ce que je trouve c'est très intéressant, c'est que les artistes se croisent, ils dorment tous ensemble, ils se croisent et il y a eu souvent des projets qui sont nés
Des mariages pendant la nuit, Comme ils dorment tous
Ouais, des
ensemble,
mariages,
alors il y a des
enfants, mais
mariages
disons,
artistiques.
plutôt des projets artistiques, je pensais plutôt à ça, mais des projets qui sont nés pendant les 4 jours de festival et même de temps en temps des coproductions. C'est-à-dire que nous, normalement, on ne produit pas parce qu'on n'a pas les moyens pour faire ça. Donc, quand nous, on produit, on cherche de l'argent qui est extérieur au budget du festival.
Ok. Vous aidez à chercher les fonds pour donner de l'aide à la production.
Oui, ou on les cherche nous-mêmes. On a déjà
Ah, ok.
travaillé avec Pro Helvetia, on a
Ok,
travaillé avec d'autres
exactement.
fondations.
Ok.
Par exemple, le tout dernier, c'est David Enia avec l'Abisso,
Ah.
a pu coproduire, ou avec Pro Helvetia, le progetto Ligabue avec Mario Perrotta qu'on a fait il y a, bon, c'était beaucoup d'années. Donc, nous, c'est ça, à la limite, nous, on programme un festival, mais on coproduit très, très peu parce qu'on a de l'argent qui est limité pour le festival. Et ceux, normalement, ceux de Baracatestone, ils le savent très bien, ceux qui ne sont pas dans notre festival, c'est qu'il n'est pas seulement pour les enfants, mais il y a énormément d'enfants qui viennent au festival avec les familles et puis qui restent aussi au festival quand ils sont des ados. Parce que les ados, souvent, c'est un moment où ils ne sont pas dans les théâtres, ils ne sont pas dans les festivals. Donc, nous, on a plein d'ados qui travaillent pour nous, qui nous aident à organiser. Et puis, normalement, c'est ça, c'est les artistes qui nous disent ça. Il y a énormément d'adolescents qui viennent voir les spectacles et qui sont là pendant les 4 jours de festival. Donc, ils ont travaillé normalement dans le festival.
Oui, ça, Amanda, c'est un aspect qui, je trouve, et je suis sûre, mes collègues aussi trouvent très intéressant, parce que le fait que t'as dit avant que vous avez décidé de payer des jeunes entre 25 et 30 ans qui étaient bénévoles, où vous avez fait une sorte de pont au secteur professionnel et vous avez des jeunes à rentrer dans notre milieu professionnel. Et ça, c'est très important et très intéressant parce que c'est quelque chose qui, je pense, que nous manque un peu en Italie. On peut observer comment vous l'avez fait, même s'il y a des structures en Italie qui ont fait ça beaucoup, de avoir une staff qui se construit à partir de la participation et du processus de formation. Par exemple, la Baracca, c'est un exemple de ça. Que de ça, mais il y en a des collègues que je vois là-bas où on fait des processus d'engagement du public, la façon de renouveler notre équipe et notre vision aussi. Je dis ça et je souligne ça et c'est très intéressant ce que tu dis que les ados ils restent parce qu'ils participent aux activités. Il y a des festivals ici qui font ça aussi avec les ados. Je pense aux collègues que je vois dans la vidéo. Et là, on va au lac à Lugano, vraiment pas loin de l'Italie. Isabella Lenzo est avec nous. Et elle va surtout nous parler d'un processus, d'un projet pour ados qui sont en train de mener et que je trouve c'est très intéressant à écouter. Isabella, tu vuoi parlare in italiano?
Je peux parler en français aussi, si ça
Magnifique,
va bien.
j'adore toi aussi. Allez-y.
D'accord. Alors, je suis la responsable de la médiation culturelle du Centre Lugano Arte e Cultura, qui est assez jeune comme théâtre, parce que le centre culturel a été créé en 2015. Et au début, on abritait une saison artistique théâtrale, mais on est devenu un théâtre depuis 2020, donc l'année de la pandémie. On a commencé avec un projet digital, mais maintenant on est un théâtre aussi d'hospitalité, mais aussi de production, surtout de production pour pas le jeune public, mais les adultes. Pour les jeunes, on travaille aussi beaucoup depuis très longtemps avec une institution très importante au canton Tessin qui est le Théâtre Pan. Je voyais ici avant Cinzia Morandi qui est avec nous. Et voilà, c'est grâce au Théâtre Pan qu'on offre des spectacles pour les écoles et le jeune public pendant notre saison en collaboration. Et on a aussi une collaboration avec le Festival international du théâtre, le FIT Festival, qui est né aussi du Théâtre Pan, pour un projet pour les adolescents qui viennent voir les spectacles et après, ils font une sorte de rédaction avec des podcasts qui sont publiés sur notre site et qui deviennent une façon de développer des idées pendant cette rédaction qui est faite 5 fois par an et des idées sur les spectacles qu'ils ont vus. C'est 1 heure de publication de documents audio qui présentent leurs idées, leur façon d'avoir vécu cette expérience au théâtre et leur façon de dire quelque chose. Donc,
Isabella,
Oui.
je t'arrête tout de suite
Oui.
juste pour te dire que si tu peux nous envoyer le link où on peut écouter tout ça, parce que ça, c'est très important pour nous au niveau
Oui.
des échanges de bonnes pratiques, parce
Oui.
que j'imagine qu'ils parlent en italien. Parce que je
Ils
sais
parlent
que
en italien, oui.
on va oublier. Et j'ai vu qu'il y a par exemple Andrea Gosetti qui est aussi un collègue qui travaille beaucoup sur des formats innovatifs sur le théâtre pour les ados, et Jessica Carbone qui avec le théâtre Telaio, on a beaucoup échangé sur les ados, et beaucoup de collègues qui sont vraiment intéressés à ces formats. Alors je renforce ça.
Je vais demander, il y a aussi ma collègue Alice qui est ici, si tu peux mettre le contact, parce que c'est Alice qui se concentre sur ce projet et qui connaît bien c'est 10, 11 jeunes garçons et filles qui préparent ces podcasts. Et puis pour la production, finalement, l'année passée, on fait une production au thème de la sostenibilità de l'ambiance et avec una regista italienne.
Une mise en scène italienne, oui.
Mise en scène italienne, et Angela Luozzi, qui était très bien. C'était dans tous les espaces de notre centre culturel. On faisait un tour et on montrait, disons, à partir du livre de Duncan Macmillan, la façon d'aller vers le futur, disons, un futur qui n'est pas très, très intéressant si on ne change pas nos habitudes. Et aussi du point de vue du contact avec le reste de la Suisse, parce qu'on, comme on a dit auparavant, on est très marginal, nous. Et on a quand même une collaboration pour un projet qui s'appelle KIX, pour le théâtre jeunesse, théâtre danse, parce que c'est un projet dans lequel 5 théâtres suisses se réunissent pour produire 5 spectacles avec des compagnies des différentes régions linguistiques, et chaque théâtre choisit une région qui n'est pas la sienne, et puis finalement on fait un festival où on peut voir et on peut se connecter. Donc c'est important de choisir des spectacles dans lesquels le langage n'est pas la chose la plus importante, parce que s'ils doivent tourner, c'est difficile. Et on a commencé l'année passée avec ça. J'ai été à Lausanne, j'avais vu un speech de Madame Garda, je me souviens. C'était très intéressant, la réalité de Lausanne. Et voilà, on fait des projets surtout. Par exemple, on va faire un abonnement pour les jeunes l'année prochaine. Pendant toute la saison, ils pourront venir à un prix vraiment très, très, très petit à tous les spectacles de production et disons, de théâtre contemporain qu'on va montrer dans notre salle de théâtre. Donc, on cherche vraiment à avoir ce dialogue avec les jeunes, mais aussi avoir un dialogue avec les réalités, surtout du Tessin, avec Amanda aussi, on se connaît depuis très longtemps, mais c'est grâce à elle que j'étais en contact avec Lisa de Baracca Testoni. La semaine prochaine, on va avoir un workshop sur la jeunesse avec Baracca Testoni pour les éducateurs et les comédiens. Donc, c'est une façon d'entrer en contact avec d'autres réalités. Et le 3 mai, on va avoir aussi un workshop sur la question de je ne sais pas comment dire en français, la disabilité, disons le théâtre avec la faiblesse, mais on va travailler sur ça. On a aussi produit un spectacle avec Aniana, une danseuse anglaise. Donc, on cherche à faire des choses pour intéresser les jeunes, mais en parlant avec eux.
Très intéressant et vous avez vraiment une variété de projets qui vous menez et je vais rajouter quelque chose par rapport parce que Chain Reaction, c'est le lieu de la bilatéralité aussi. Alors, c'est important à savoir que dans Assitege Italia, il y a un processus avec un groupe de come si dice, parties, mais structures, avec un partenariat de structures qui sont en train de mener un travail très intéressant sur une recherche sur les bonnes pratiques et les modalités d'établir des processus qui facilitent l'accessibilité. Et c'est pour ça que on va dire à Marta Galdi, qui est la personne qui mène ce projet avec des autres partenaires, de rentrer en contact avec vous sur ce thème. Et aussi, on a à l'attention qui sont les collègues qui sont en train de réfléchir sur cette thématique, c'est-à-dire produire avec artistes qui ont des besoins spéciaux sur plateau, c'est-à-dire comment accueillir les enfants qui ont des besoins spéciaux et comment aussi aider les familles et se relationner aussi au système de l'instruction, de l'école, par rapport à ces besoins. Là, on est ouvert et c'est un des projets que Assitege Italie est en train de soutenir et c'est important de le savoir.
Merci.
Autre chose très importante, excuse-moi, Isabelle, est-ce que ça va, tu avais plus ou moins terminé ta super panoramique sur vos activités. Pour entrer en relation avec vous, c'est qui qu'il faut contacter? C'est toi qui t'occupes de ce type de processus spéciaux? C'est qui? On parle avec qui?
Ça dépend. Pour ce qui est la médiation culturelle, donc dans mon secteur, il y a une personne qui est dédiée, par exemple, à l'accessibilité et à l'inclusion. Vous pouvez me contacter, après je vais donner son nom, si elle s'appelle Aglaia Haritz. Mais pour les projets de production théâtrale, c'est plutôt mon collègue qui s'appelle Massimo Monaci. Mais si jamais vous pouvez me contacter et après je peux donner, disons, mettre en contact avec lui. Pour le théâtre pour les jeunes, vous pouvez parler avec moi. Mais il y a beaucoup de personnes qui sont, disons, après je vais parler aussi avec Théâtre Pan. Il faut tout bien connecter, mais comme première personne de contact, je suis très disponible. Oui.
Très, très bien. Alors, je vais continuer en français, même si maintenant on passe à l'anglais. Anzi, no, I will switch in English, otherwise I will not be able to speak in English anymore. Thank you. For you that are here, the people on the screen and the people there is a rule within the chain reaction community, and being here today, you are part of this community. When you receive an email from that in the text we say, oh, I met you in the chain reaction dialogue, you are obliged to answer before 7 days. And you can't let this mail in spam or they're waiting for answer. Even if you answer like, oh, yes, I don't have time to answer you, but I will. It's okay. It's a matter of empowering the trust that email get read. And we contacted you, and this empowers us and makes the trust chain more effective and the communication. So let's go for it now, just for you to understand how we have chosen the people to be here. Of course, we can be thousands of people here telling amazing stories, because in Switzerland, even if it's a small country, 200 and more than 200 of members. Wow, it's a lot. In Italy, we are about 130, but Italy is bigger. So congratulations for all the job that you're doing with members. We have tried to have a diverse panorama with a small attention to this kind of processes that are engagement processes and other kind of processes that are at the moment, in our opinion, means chain reaction, the most interesting to share in the logic of sharing and setting cooperations within different countries. So now we will go to a kind of traditional format, a dance festival and we have here today Anu Maria Karamnius Puka that will speak in English for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Christina. Yes, we are International Dance Festival, and we are from really babies from 0 till 18 years old. And we have existed from 2015 on. And we are 2 weeks long festival, always end of the September. And the festival mainly take place in, it's a city Zug, and the all around of canton and different cities around of this canton. So we try to little bit reach out to central Switzerland, different places where which doesn't have so much young audience field, and they really try to as well to little bit establish little by touring during the festival. And that you can imagine that the city Zug is only 30,000 members, inhabitants. So, but we have there 132 nationals, different nations living there. So it's really international, and for whole canton is 50,000, and then we reach around different areas around it. German itself is a German-speaking canton, and it's situated between Luzern and Zurich, so you can map that somewhere. We are organized as a non-profit organization, having a team with works of, basically we work around a year, but particularly with the mandates. And we are financed by the city and Canton Zug mainly, different foundations, and small amount from the municipalities around of us as well, and sponsoring. We offer public and a school program. So we divide this because of, first of all, I will explain later on why we have to sort of, but basically we have performances in theaters and site-specific places, outside different cultural institutions, and at schools. And at schools, we have really performances for schoolhouse performances and then for the school classes. And the school program is free of charge. And this is sort of, beside then program, we offer the schools mediation material from to support the education curriculum and making us possible to really go and perform as much as possible for the schools. And we offer always workshops or after talks if it's possible for the schools as well. Beside the normal performances, we have workshops and we try to offer them in different culture fields, combining always somehow with the dance. We have a digital program, a family program, and different mediation projects as well. And we offer as well, we try to offer every year participational projects as well. And one of them is sort of something that we have been now building from 3 years it's called Young Impact Makers, and it is really giving the children the right to be participating of the festival, giving the voice, empowering them, and giving them possibility to really take part of the festival. And to really, our goal is to really give, like, our goal would be that we could program the whole festival with young people, for young people, because it's, and to give that they really possibility to be active members there.
You mean that it's co-curated with children?
We are on it. It's not so easy. It's because of that really, like that was from early on the aim. We have tried it to different formatations. We have had the tourists where the young people has been as well. And we are now at the moment trying to figure out ways where we could really participate them more. And the Young Impact Makers is one format where we can really, like in the future, when we get more of them, that we can really give them this task as well along the sort of, I'm the artistic director at the moment in the festival, so I would like to curate with the children. But the difficulties is that, as well as we have mentioned, that it's when we started 8 years ago, there was nothing in, not much in this area on culture education for the children, and we were first a festival for the young audience, for the dance field, I think even in the whole Switzerland. So we really had to build the audience and show that why it is needed, what's the importance of the culture education for the children. So it takes much more, it takes time, and but that's sort of our really goal to co-curate or co-direct that the festival one way or another with the young people. And our main purpose, of course, is as well to offer the culture and the dance for the young people, but also at the same time we try to raise awareness of the importance of this field in generally, but support as well local and Swiss and international professionals, and make it possible that there is, encourage them that there is more performances and for the young audiences made. And we are organizing a professional events, talks, and network possibilities as well. We try to as well, what is really important for us, that we try to sort of program as well different Swiss language regions. And this is sort of there as well, that what we have already discussed is not always easy, because we have so many different languages in Switzerland already. And besides languages, we have the founding system is different. And then as well, even we should have a common educational system in whole Switzerland, but the curriculums are so different from canton to canton. So sometimes even the mediation projects, it's quite hard to sort of get them in a touring in different languages.
Okay, so you are putting the light on another problem that I believe we can't imagine, and this is interesting. The school system are different. This is interesting to listen, because the impact, of course, can be very generate a complex situation in distribution of the performances and how they are received. Very well, thank you for telling us about this interesting project. We are on time, more or less. I will give the floor just if Petra Fischer has something to add from Assitage Switzerland. I don't know, because I can't see if she's still connected. Yes, okay. Petra, if you want to add anything from the point of view of Assitage Switzerland, maybe listening to all this presentation, and then we also have Cinzia Morandi. I can give you the floor for like 3 minutes, and then we say bye to all the colleagues that needs to run to see a fantastic show in this amazing Gioca Teatro Festival. Petra.
Yes, hello everybody. I came from a performance, that's why I can now stay here in this meeting, but thank you for possibility. I'd like to add to Anno Maria something, because we have another festival. It's not only for dance, but for theater and dance, and it is called Fanfaluca in Aarau. We have the 10th anniversary in this year. It is in September too, every year since 10 years. And it's a festival which is a national festival from all parts of Switzerland. And we have the same problems like Anno Maria described. Maybe the interesting point is that we decided 2 years ago, I'm the artistic director of this festival now, and 2 years ago, we decided to bring youngsters in the program group. That means youngsters are a part of the curation team, and it is very interesting to stay in contact between the professional theater makers and dance makers and the youngsters, not only as an audience, but as a maker of the festival. And this part is for us in Assitage, Switzerland, a very interesting and important thing. We are in in the discussion with the other German-speaking countries, because the participation programs of children and youngsters are a very important part of our work, and so there is in this moment there's maybe a spotlight on this field of our work in dance and theater, and this I wanted to add to this was what Anna Maria told about. And of course, if there are any questions, I know Signe described ACT Switzerland very well, and maybe there are some questions now later on, and please ask.
Thank you, Petra. I believe that we have been listening a lot of and receiving a lot of input, and we will give to all the participants a report of what happened today. You will find the video and the report of this meeting on our Chain Reaction website that I advise you to visit, where you can find information on next dialogues that I support you to participate, because the logic of Chain Reaction is also to connect the countries. We create the dialogue together to listen, and there you can find information about the 6 festival partners that are Segni New Generation Festival from Mantova, Kids in October, November, Kids in Lecce in December, January, Visioni Festival that in 2023 will be in the middle of October, Teatro fra le Generazioni that is normally in March in Florence, then I Teatri del Mondo in Porto Sant'Elpidio, and then Trallallero Festival that is in the beginning of October. So 6 festivals touring around all Italy. I said that Visioni Festival is going to be in October in 2023. So, yes, Bruno, look at me with that face. So let's go forward. Cinzia, do you want to add something, anything? We have here today also Francesca Vetrano online for the Kids Festival, so that I see connected. Cinzia.
Si, je parle français parce que l'anglais, c'est terrible, mon anglais. Alors, oui, moi je suis maintenant responsable du Théâtre Pan. Il y a 4 ans, Vania, qui a été la fondatrice, elle est plus avec nous. Donc, on organise, avec maintenant le lac de Lugano, la rassegna Senza Confini. Ce sont 6 spectacles pendant toute l'année. Et puis, on organise aussi le festival Il Maggiolino, qui est en train de reprendre, parce qu'avant, il y avait Vania qui faisait ça toute l'année. Et maintenant, je me suis retrouvée à l'organiser un peu avec peu de personnes. Je ne m'occupe pas seulement de ça, mais on est aussi un centre de création. Et en ce moment, le festival est en train de reprendre, à devenir un peu plus grand. Parce que, comme vous savez, c'est toujours le problème de trouver de l'argent pour pouvoir inviter aussi des gens qui habitent hors de l'Italie, du Tessin, parce qu'on est très près de l'Italie. Donc, en ce moment, on fait ça. Et puis, oui, c'est presque tout ce qu'on fait. Mais je serais très content de voir si avec le Maggiolino, on pourrait augmenter un peu, avoir plus de possibilités pour ouvrir un peu plus le festival. Et une question que je me pose toujours, c'est peut-être la possibilité de créer aussi des liens pour les compagnies qui viennent hors disons, de Suisse, Italie, France, qui sont un peu plus loin, pour voir s'il y a possibilité de créer qu'une compagnie peut venir, parce qu'il y a beaucoup de compagnies jeunes qui ne bougent pas pour un seul spectacle, pour des questions aussi de pollution, des idéaux qui ne veulent pas prendre de l'Hollande, arriver jusqu'en Italie ou au Tessin. Et donc, ce serait pas mal de pouvoir créer, par exemple, organiser une compagnie qui vient et fait 2, 3 spectacles sur la ligne, par exemple, Hollande, Suisse alémanique, Tessin et Italie.
Vous prêtez en tant qu'étape de passage.
Voilà, parce que ce serait bien, parce que des fois aussi... Oui. Bon, C'est tout.
Très bien, c'est très important. Alors, Cynthia, ça nous permet de vous rappeler quelque chose qu'on aime faire chez Chain Reaction, c'est-à-dire, si vous connaissez des compagnies de la Suisse qui veut venir en Italie et qui, par exemple, ça c'est du boulot peut-être pour Felicitas, et qui ont des dates en Italie ou peuvent avoir l'Italie en tant qu'étape de passage, n'hésitez pas à nous contacter parce que peut-être on peut lancer sur nos membres ou sur tous les contacts de network le fait qu'il y a une compagnie qui est en passage, de faciliter le tour et par rapport aux dispositifs qui peuvent aider à la diffusion et circulation dans des critères de respect de la pollution. Il y a aussi un site très intéressant qui s'appelle Capillar, qui a été créé par ma super collègue Bebe de Soares et qui est structuré pour accueillir des infos et partager les infos et chercher des partenaires pour créer des pistes de tournée soutenables. Ça aussi, vous allez recevoir dans le rapport qu'on va vous envoyer, où il y aura les noms des structures et vos contacts que vous nous avez autorisés à partager avec notre network. Et s'il n'y a pas de questions ou de choses que quelqu'un veut rajouter, je pense qu'on peut se dire très satisfait de ce moment d'échange qui nous a donné beaucoup de stimule. Et je vous remercie et je vous laisse partir au boulot et au spectacle chez le festival Joc à Théâtre. Je ne sais pas qu'est-ce que vous allez voir, mais je suis sûre que ça sera un super spectacle. Est-ce qu'il y a des questions? J'ai fait un long préambule parce que comme ça, si vous avez des questions, elles peuvent venir dans la tête. Non, pas de questions. Pas de choses à rajouter. Alors? A Torino cosa mi dite? Cosa andate a vedere?
Ci dobbiamo avvicinare per parlare con te.
Fatelo.
Ciao cara.
Inginocchiatevi.
Sì, no, noi siamo... Sì, è stato anche aggiunto uno spettacolo alle 4, per cui appunto c'è
stato un fuggi-fuggi.
C'è un movimento di truppe, sì.
Ottimo, e allora vi ringraziamo, grazie Linda Aeroli, grazie a Sitege Italia di essere con noi, grazie a tutti, thank you everybody for being with us and see you in the next Chain Reaction Dialogue or all around the world in fantastic networking meeting in the context of theater for young audience sector.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Ciao a tutti. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you very much. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you.